Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. And it's the Provisions Brokerage Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome to the program Eric Couch. Eric, how are you? And you
Great.
had Facebook booming today, right?
Oh, man, it's been going
crazy about our guest, for sure.
Yes. So today we're talking with James Murray, a.k.a. Murr, from from Impractical Jokers. And I'm thinking just some of the episodes we've seen and that have come up on Facebook. And it's going to be a lively conversation. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. So, Murr, man, welcome to the show. We're excited to talk.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's interesting getting a look into your homes and seeing what the backgrounds are.
Yeah, this is not my home. This is my virtual studio.
That's your virtual studio, but behind...
this is my home.
Eric, I see, is that Groot from... what's his,
yes.
That's his name?
It's Groot the bobblehead. And then we've got Yoda back here.
Yoda. Is that BB-8 too?
No, this is actually an old school camera that my wife's family used to have and here's another one right here, a Polaroid.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had a store in West Texas that like 30 years after it closed, it still had everything there. It's kind of like a ghost town.
Yeah.
So we were walking through a couple years ago, and her aunt has this, just like rooms and rooms and rooms of stuff that she's collected over the years, and some pretty cool stuff. So I had asked if I could have some of the cameras that still had, the original box, and it had, the stuff to take the photos with, and original flash bulbs, and it's pretty fun stuff. So
very cool. Behind the camera, I'll get it 1 second. You have a Yoda right, literally in the room. I happen to have, just two lightsabers.
I love it.
Crazy coincidence.
Just so you know, this is the way I'm rocking. This interview.
So are you a Star Wars nerd?
You got to be ready.
Are you a Star Wars nerd?
I think the key word being nerd. I'm just a nerd in general.
I'm a Star Wars. I love sci-fi, but then Star Wars is just, anytime Star Wars talk about Star Wars, I'm also a Heroes fan. Back in the day, I like different types of sci-fi, but it all depends. So,
are you talking about the TV show Heroes?
Yeah. Would you like that show?
I mostly loved it, and we're dear friends with Greg Grunberg from the show.
I love Greg,
who's been in Star Wars, and he unfortunately died in the last movie.
Yeah. I remember that. I was like, Greg, come on. I've interviewed him a couple times, Murr, and I'm like, come on, no, don't kill him. And I just had the Solo from the Solo movie on promoting a show for NBC, and he's a great guy too. I hate names. I'll just call him Han, right? We had Han, the baby Han, not before the other one. But it was interesting hearing him and said, are we going to have Solo too? Because it's amazing what Star Wars has done, Murr, right? With Disney now, with Disney's with the channel, how they're really going to be able to repurpose the content and utilize a lot of the characters for us nerds that will watch all day long.
I'll tell you what, when are we getting a standalone Darth Vader movie? That's what called Vader. When is that happening?
That's coming up with Anakin, the story. Did you see that? That's already coming out.
A standalone Darth Vader movie?
No, it's not standalone. It's going to be the series of Anakin series.
I want a standalone Darth Vader movie to see him being a badass. That's what I want.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just destroying everything.
You go ahead and create it, okay?
I don't have the rights. I can't.
Oh, you
go up against Disney.
You just call Disney today, right? Pick up the phone and call them and say, I have the best.
They have a couple attorneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Eric, first question.
Now there could be an Impractical Jokers episode of just Vader things where you're, getting choked out or something like that. But, they're standing across the room from you.
A very special getting choked out episode of Impractical Jokers.
And you could kind of mix that with Star Wars and then Spaceballs. So,
my favorite movies. There you go.
I played Darth Vader in an ice bucket challenge for the TV station. So that's up on YouTube at one point where I was Darth Vader and had to douse people with my skills, and I'm a legitimate 6'10", so I filled into the Darth Vader suit really well.
Yeah.
You're 6'10" for real?
Yeah, former professional wrestler. minor leagues.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's interesting to know because your head is a little bit low in the frame of your camera.
Yeah.
So it makes you look a little bit shorter than 6'10".
No, that's right. If I would go up like this, I'm trying to fit. If I block, I don't want to block my my branding. No, so I try to fit myself exactly where it needs to be. And the chair I'm in, you know, that's always what's fun about Zooms. I'm a radio guy, Murr. I just started to try to do the whole TV thing. I used to do the TV thing where I'd still have the TV show, but just radio interviews of celebrities. I said, well, because of the pandemic, I said, no, we're getting them on camera now. And that's the best thing.
Now you're getting us in our pajamas, like at home.
Exactly. Get to see all the cool homes and different things.
Business on top and party on bottom. Yeah.
Murr's controlling this interview, so go ahead for the first question, Eric.
Okay. So I've got a whole slew of questions, but first let's go back. So you've written some sci-fi stuff. You're a comedian. And then you also work with some of your grade school best friends of doing the crap that us guys do, except you actually make a living. All the stuff that your mom was like, you could never make a living doing that. Like, that's what you do and make a living. So kind of fill us in on some backstory.
Yeah, I can't believe I get to do what I do for a living. I can't believe, if you look at it, I can't believe that, you know, I was valedictorian in grade school, salutatorian in high school. I had a 4.0 average at Georgetown when I went.
Oh, wow.
And then Q dropped out of college, worked as a toll booth collector and an ice cream truck driver, and him and I make the exact same amount of money.
Toll booth Willie.
So it just shows you, man, that's what happens. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's amazing what I get to do with my best friends. The story is the guys and I've been friends for 30 years. We went to high school together. We met first day of high school, and we formed Jokers. It took us like 11 years to get on TV. Formed Jokers. Now we've been doing that for 10 years straight now. And it's led to all sorts of cool things, like the movie that came out this year, right before the world shut down. We had 2 weeks in the theaters. I'll take it, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody told me recently, and this is going to be crazy, but, you know, we were, I think, the last movie to come out in theaters before they shut down, right? That being said, the Academy Awards are going to happen no matter what. So we have a decent chance because by forfeit of winning an Academy Award. Like, we might become the highest grossing comedy of 2020 by default. You know
oh my gosh.
You know, hey man, you take what you can get.
We're going to win like best animated feature, best foreign film, best supporting actors. We're going to win everything because there's no competition.
Yeah.
You know? So it led to cool things. And it led to cool things like the TV show and our fan base being as amazing as they are, led to another passion of mine, which was writing. I wrote my first book long before Jokers. I spent a year writing it in 2004. And it's like a thriller. It was the first book of the series called Awakened. And I sent it out after a year of working. I sent it out to every publisher, being nobody, and not having agents or anything like that. And every publisher returned it to me unopened. I couldn't get a single person to read it, right?
Wow.
Fast forward a decade later, I'm on TV, our fan base. I sent the same book, not a single word changed, into HarperCollins. They bought the trilogy. The first book hit #1 on the international bestseller list.
Wow.
Number 2 hit #4 on the bestseller list. Book 3 just came out a few weeks ago, Obliteration. And then I have 5 more books coming out. I have Don't Move comes out in October. That's a thriller that takes place in the woods of West Virginia. Then I have the bottom drawer here, which I'll get. I have The Stowaway comes out next April. That is a thriller on a cruise ship. And then starting next summer, I have 3 children's middle grade books coming out called Interns of Area 51. So,
oh my gosh,
the thing is, like, all the TV show and our fans made all this kind of stuff possible. It's kind of like a dream come true.
So when do you find the time?
Well, I have a lot of time right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of books. I haven't been nearly as productive.
We have nothing but time at the moment. So I've been writing a lot while home and doing a lot of writing books with my co-writers, Darren, and on the other books, my co-writer Carson. We've been writing books over Zoom, basically.
Wow. And that whole process, now you're taking everything that you went to school, your intelligence, and now after getting paid for Impractical Jokers, you pretty much can do what you love on the side of things that maybe you would never if you had a day job.
Yeah, it all is made possible through Jokers, of course, right? Like it's all possible because of our fan base and the show still, I think, being funny and still being on the air, and it makes all these kind of other creative outlets possible for us, which is great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, one of the questions that I thought was great that came up was, which skit, and we've had some votes on what the people think, but what skit made you the most nervous?
I'm interested in seeing what people think. There's one that sticks with me to this day. There was an episode. This didn't make me nervous. It made me nervous for 3 months afterward. But there was an episode where they shaved off my eyebrows. Yeah. And I had to get a new driver's license photo with no eyebrows. I just had it out. I was showing a fan a little while ago. Wow. So it's on my desk coincidentally. This is still my license to this day. It's for a 10-year punishment. That's still it.
Oh my gosh. If this happened to me in pro wrestling, the Headbangers from the WWE, the tag team champions of the WWF back in the day, we were down south. They were the Spiders. The first time I came in, green as grass, they told me, hey, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to shave your – and they shaved my eyebrows. And they just said we're doing something else and didn't know what the heck they were doing. They were the biggest jokers in the world. Yep. Glenn and Chaz. And shout out to those guys. But they should have been – you need to pull a joke on them at one point in time on an independent wrestling show, the Headbangers, because they deserve it. They deserve it big time.
When we pull the joke on them, I'll say Neil sent us.
Yes.
Right. I remember. That's probably wise.
Yeah.
Yes, because no, they're pretty big guys, but yeah, Glenn and Chaz will pull all the jokes in WWE all the time. Yeah. Maybe that's one of the reasons. One of them I think got let go. Who knows for what reasons? With maybe doing it to the wrong person in the office. But wrestlers do this a lot, Murr. I don't know if you heard about that they do a lot. The old school wrestlers. The new school, I wouldn't say, but the '90s attitude wrestlers were big Impractical Jokers. Did you ever know that? Did they ever tell you that?
We have a lot of professional wrestler fans. And we've done bits with professional wrestlers before on the show too, Huh. And I think and we made Q for one punishment get into a ring at a match, and he got thrown around, by Tommy Dreamer, and we've worked with them a lot. I really do think it's only a matter of time before we do some kind of crossover between Jokers and WWE, because we've been talking with them about it for a while. We were supposed to do a season finale at the WWE. What is their facility down in Florida?
Yeah. The Performance Center.
Performance Center, right? We were supposed to do a season finale there, I think last season, and the dates didn't work out for one reason or another. But I think it's only a matter of time before you see some kind of storyline crossover between Jokers and wrestling.
Yeah, that'll definitely happen.
My house, I don't. They might be. No, they're not in this room. In my house, probably in the other room, I have all my wrestling figures. I'm an '80s wrestling guy.
Okay, let's see who I wrestled at your '80s figures, because I've wrestled some of them.
Dude, they're all downstairs. I'll go get the whole box if you want. If you have
Hacksaw Jim Dugan.
I have Hacksaw Jim Dugan.
Junkyard Dog.
I have him right downstairs.
Right? Yeah, and JYD.
I'll go run and get the box. She's gonna blow you away.
Okay, you don't have to run and get the box, but that's something for another interview, Murr. Yeah. We're gonna have to make it happen, and I might have an opportunity. It's very interesting. I had a conversation with a star from another show, and it'll come to me in a second. But they're involved in a company called Celebrity Slots, and they talked about specifically he should be great in wrestling as well. One of the creators. My brain and who I've interviewed all the time. It'll come to me later in the conversation because I'm thinking about you. But go ahead, Eric, with your next question.
Okay, so regarding like some of the stuff, we talked about like what made you most, uncomfortable, what was punishment. We had some of the things that, of course, my favorite is when you were in the art studio and you're having to pose, and then they're like, do the Miyagi kick. When you finally just were like, I was crying. Like, by the way, it's my son's favorite show. Unfortunately, he's working right now because I tried to have him join us because I think he's seen every single episode.
Wow. Did you ever see the episode where they made me pull cigarettes out of people's mouths? That I think to this day is the most scared I've ever been. We hired double the security that day because I was like, someone's going to knock me on my ass, sure than shit, right? Like, someone's going to pop because you can't push people that way,
right,
without explaining yourself, And thank God I didn't get punched. But
well, Brian, who asked that specific question of what made you most nervous, as far as human interaction, he's like, getting punched. He's like, my guess is the cigarette skit.
Yep.
So there you go. Now my buddy Warren was like, what was the worst punishment, skydiving or prostate exam?
It's funny. Literally, what they don't tell you on TV is that Dr. Frank, the guy that gave me 2 prostate exams on live TV, yes, he's a doctor, true. But he's my friend Frank, who happens to be a doctor. So they don't tell you that in the punishment. So it's doubly embarrassing for me because it's not just a random doctor. That's my friend who is I've been friends with him long before Jokers. I was just at him and his wife's house on Saturday, and we were laughing about him again. I was like, it's weird to be at your friend's house knowing that his fingers have been in your butt. It's weird.
You've done some. So did you guys always play jokes all the time? Or
yeah, we went to an all-boys Catholic high school in Staten Island. There was literally nothing other to do than just prank your friends. We wanted to do schoolwork, that's for sure. So it was just like ingrained in our DNA from when we were in our formative years.
Yeah, so that was kind of the assumption is like it's just got to have gone back. I remember in college we were in this little East Texas college and we lived in a dorm. And there was like everybody, and then the baseball team, which was one of the highest ranked in the nation for this little bitty college. And something got started. And, some of us had some evil summer jobs of working with camps and stuff. And I remember before it was over, we were putting like dead fish in their trucks, like hiding it under the engine or in the back seat. We would penny lock them in their rooms and tie their doors together so they couldn't open them and get the bag with either Catfish Charlie, but then also some, baby powder and put it under the door and hit it and just crop dust them and, everything you could possibly do. They got their air conditions on the outside of the building. So we'd put like Catfish Charlie and sodium in the AC. So it just steam them out and they couldn't be in there, but then they're locked in their room. So they can't get, it was wildly fun and entertaining. I'm not going to lie.
The big one we used to do in school too. The very classic, simple one. You take an egg, you lift the toilet cover, put the egg in, close the toilet seat, the actual ceramic, and just wait, and just wait a week and see what happens. And they're searching. Well, where the hell is this smell coming from? You can't stop it, and you don't need to lift the damn ceramic toilet.
The egg part.
Yeah.
But and I'm sure it's more than just guys, right? I don't know, but every guy can relate and just enjoys watching the show and laughs because it reminds us of the time or those times where we just cut loose and were guys and had a blast and didn't care about the rest of the world and just had fun, right? That's the connection.
I think what makes the show work, honestly, is we don't consider it a prank show at all or anything like that. We consider it a buddy comedy, honestly.
Right.
I think it's the biggest compliment we get is that we remind people of the friends they grew up with. I think that's a huge compliment because we and the other thing I think the show does is I think it's like an island of positivity in a really negative world. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the show remains this kind of like sweet spot of positivity. And I think it's the kind of show you come home after working all day or having a hell of a day, and you turn the TV on and you just laugh for a half hour straight. Forget about all the bullshit and just laugh. So
did you ever think the show would be such a success?
I tell you, I didn't know it would. I thought when we created the show, it was going to be guys our age watching the show. And that's it. You have guys in their 40s, whatever, that just think we're all kind of same age. And I don't know how old you guys are, but and it wasn't, and that surprised us. So like early on, when we started doing the show, we started touring, and we tour a lot now. And at our live shows, we'd look out and we'd see as many, if not more, women in the audience than men. And the live shows that we do on tour, like 60-70% female. The Jokers cruise we do every year is like 70% female. We never, and then tons of families coming. and multi-generation. You have the grandparents, the parents, and the kids, because it was like the one show they all agree on. It's kind of like their dinner show they put on in the background. We never saw that coming, you know? I thought it was just going to be guys our age that are kind of laughing at dumb shit. And it wasn't. It became like a family show, which surprised us. And that's why we kind of changed the tone of the show as we went on. And I think the show's gotten better as a result.
Yeah,
I think it has too. So you mentioned, you know, and I want to come back to some of these other comical things, but you mentioned family. So, you know, one of my buddies, Mitch, had asked, you know, describe the describe the conversation when you first mentioned to your family, right? Mom, dad, siblings. Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur and start a business with my best friends.
Yeah.
But then also, you know, the comedy, but then kind of what was your mindset in starting this?
You know, our families were really supportive for a long time when we failed. You know, they you know, we failed for 11 years and they still came to every live show we did in New York City, even though they sucked. You know, we did one show. It was like a year or two before Jokers. We did one live show in Manhattan at a 40-person theater we rented. 2 people bought tickets to see us perform. They spent $5 each. The theater cost us $65 to rent, so we lost $5. We split it 4 ways and lost, you know. And but our families were always there, like still supporting us, come to shows, and even though it took so long to succeed, and it was especially that I have a distinct memory of like the premiere episode of Jokers in 2011. I remember that night distinctly because all of our families were there. And we didn't know if the show would last more than one day. We knew the pilot was airing that night, and we were watching it live with our closest friends and family. And we were like, we may get canceled tomorrow. The ratings may suck, but tonight we made it. You know what I mean? Like no one can take away that we made it on television. It's happening. It exists, you know? And it was just it was so gratifying, honestly, after 11 years of failure to create something that no matter what existed. You know, can't take it away. It aired. It was on television, even if only for one night. And that was 10 years ago. So we're very blessed.
Well, and you were persistent, right? You stuck with it. You didn't give up. And that's, you know, that's the biggest issue for most entrepreneurs is, you know, can you survive long enough to succeed?
Exactly. I think that's a big part of it is outlasting your competition. And I think also when you fail a lot, I mean a lot spectacularly. I think you develop kind of an edge to whatever and an outlook to what you're doing, and you kind of reach a point in your career where you're like, can I curse or no?
Well, don't curse because it's television, but
I won't curse. Okay, it's on television. I won't curse then. You kind of reach a point where you're like, F it. You're going to either make it or not. And that when you have that edge, that's when you succeed, I think. You know,
right? You can get away with certain cuss words because of CNN, but thank you. And Fox and what's coming on. So we'll see what happens. But let me go to this one question. Are you a fan of the Jerky Boys?
I wasn't a huge fan, but I know them. Yeah. I never watched.
No, but like their tapes and stuff. Growing up, I did. I don't know. It's funny. But at the end, your jokes are different than that for sure. And so Eric, go ahead with your question before we get to the legacy question, because we could talk to Murr all day long.
Well, so yeah, before we go, because I do have a couple more joke questions, but one of the questions that's a little more serious that I really like. So Tim had asked, you know, would love some insights of how the relationship stayed solid over the decade between you and the guys, right? Especially with all the craziness. You know, I have to imagine there's been some conflict over the years. So the question would be, you know, would be interested to know how you guys have worked through, you know, and maintained that bond over, especially with 11 years of not making it, right?
Yeah, I think it started from when we were kids. We've been best friends for 30 years. 30 years. The TV show's been on 10. So still, the majority of our friendship has been long before television. You know what I mean? And that kind of history, I think, bonds you with your best friends in a way. You know, the other thing that I think helps is that, let's say you're a stand-up comedian and you hit it big and you become famous, right? And you're selling out arenas and things like that, and you have a TV show. You're on your own doing it. You know, You're traveling alone. You're on the road alone. everything that's happening to us, we're going through it with the three other guys that are closest to you in your life. So all the ups, all the downs, all the fights, all the makeups, all the amazing things happening, you're not experiencing it alone. We're not traveling alone. We're not having dinner alone on the road. We're not filming a TV show alone. I'm hanging out with my best friends. So you go through everything together as friends, and it makes it much easier to deal with. It makes success much easier to deal with. You keep each other grounded. You keep each other. We keep each other grounded. Each other, excuse me, in check, and it makes it very satisfying to be going through this with the three guys I would want to be going through this with. You know, it's just the friendship goes long before, you know, was created long before the TV show, and at this point, we're too old to make new friends.
All right, Eric, we'll just let you go. 2 more quick questions before our time's up.
Okay, so man, I've got to ask. So, did you really have no idea that they were going to make you do skydiving, and are you really that terrified of heights?
I had no idea, which is, you can tell. I ran into the bathroom at that location, the place, and I locked myself in for a half hour. They wouldn't let I wouldn't let him put it on TV, but I was crying in the bathroom, and I FaceTimed my mother from the bathroom of the skydiving place.
They die.
And she sent me the voicemail. So, because she was out shopping in Macy's, so I had to send her a text saying, "I love you. You know, if this goes wrong, I love you." And they did it to me again in the Joker's movie. They made me ride outside of an airplane while I was flying.
Oh my God.
Climb out onto the wing and fly outside the plane.
Okay, and then we got a legacy question, but I've got one more for my buddy Manny, and that's what's the and there may be many, right? But what's the one joke that didn't make it, right? That just didn't make the air. That's like, no, that's we draw the line.
I know the answer. It was written in the very document that we used to sell the TV show in our pitch, our treatment for the show, our pitch document. There's one punishment we've always wanted to do, and none of us have the nerve to do it. The idea is the loser has to go to church and when to a couple getting married, and when they say "Speak now or forever hold your peace," he's got to stand up, object to the wedding, go into detail why he objects, realize he's at the wrong wedding, apologize, and leave. And none of us have the nerve to do it. And I think that'll be like the series finale of the show. We'll do it, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
That's or it finishes the season and it hasn't quite gotten there, right?
Questions. Thank Eric Couch's audience of fans on Facebook for these amazing questions. I think this is great. Go, Eric, with your legacy question now, because I want to see how Murr answers.
Okay, so Murr, one of the things that we always talk about is, you know, living a legacy, right? We all want to leave a legacy, but we're also living one. You're using your influence, and you use it every day in your books and in the way that you make people laugh, and that it's just like we talked about with your, you know, you're not alone, right? You've got your best friends, and you're so much stronger together. So my question would be, you know, what's the legacy that you want to leave behind, you know, when it's also, and it doesn't have to be specifically TV. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be whatever. But you know, what's your passion? What do you want your legacy to be?
I think the goal for us is to make people's lives just a little bit better. Yeah. Right. I think that's what drives the four of us, is that when we're filming the TV show, we just think about making each other laugh, right? Because I know that these are the three funniest guys I've ever met in my life. And I know if I do something that makes them laugh, I feel like it will make other people laugh too. So we're just focused on that goal. But the bigger impact is the letters we get from fans saying that when they were in the hospital with whatever's going on in their life, or their mother passed away, or they broke up with something fell apart in their life, or they lost their job, and what helped them get through, or they've been in quarantine for 4 months, and what helps get them through it is laughing for a half hour, and they watch these marathons of the show, and it helps them forget to remember that there's good out there. And if we just make people just that much happier in their lives, I think that, and we can make millions of people have that, we can impact millions of people.
Yeah.
in that way. That's it. That's the legacy. I think that's the legacy. I think the biggest legacy too is all the kids that watch the show.
Yeah.
The kids. I think it's like kids like from 10 years old to 20 years old. This is their favorite show. That's the legacy. That'll last long beyond our years. You know?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Now, where can we purchase the books? Watch everything. Where's the best place to go?
Obliteration, the brand new thriller. You'll love it. It's action packed, page turning. It's perfect summer beach reading. And you don't have to have read the other 2 books to understand it and love it. We catch you right up. To purchase Obliteration, go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere books are sold. And you can also pre-order Don't Move anywhere books are sold as well.
All right.
Murr, awesome.
You're
man.
awesome. We're going to have you on again, Murr, for another book or another promotion or something else. Just reach out to me, and I appreciate you coming.
Would love to. Next episode, I'm bringing out the wrestling figures from the 80s.
Oh, you're bring out the wrestling figures from the 80s, and then you also got to hit up. We're gonna prank the headbangers.
Absolutely. Those 2. Look for those both. The next episode.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Murr. Take care.
Thanks so much.
All right, guys. That was the Neil Haley Show. Take care, everyone.